So we can see here the supercomputer that they used is about 65,000 computer nodes. Every node is a whole processor, and every node contains about half gigabytes of RAM. The total is 32 terabytes of RAM. Total is the RAM. And you can see here that the processing speed is 360 teraflops per second. It is the eighth fastest supercomputer today. They hired some neuroscientists to map some physiological functions of the brain. So they tried to make some algorithm between the cortex and thalamus and hippocampus and so many nuclei in the brain. They integrate together to simulate some sensory function and processing function for the brain. Take for example, the hearing of a sentence, hearing of speech, of human speech. You will see that differentiating letters and sentences and person-to-person change in the sound is just occurs by changing the temporal histogram or temporal spectral frequency of the sound wave. And this has been done by the ear at the first level of processing in the cochlea. The first part of the inner ear acts as a filter. There is some sensory organs, actually it's just cells. Every cell has some tuning frequency for a specific frequency that filters the frequency of the hearing. So from 20 hertz until 20,000 hertz, there is some slightly changing in the length of the cells. That is, everyone is tunable so for a specific frequency. So there is like a Fourier transform. We can see here that they try to enter this information into the auditory sensors, and this is just simulation. And after that, to the primary cortex, the first or the second part of the processing of the hearing, and the secondary, and then the third tertiary sensory cortex. And they try to see the patterns of firings of the neurons. They claim that the pattern of the fields of the electrical charge is the same, or you can see that the same maybe occur in some humans. So this is some success that they try to develop more and more, and even to upgrade their system in the next 10 years to make it for the whole brain. Now they try to simulate some cat's brain. They claim that they has the power to simulate a whole brain of the cat. So we will take some 1 or 2 minutes video about blue gene project.
Destruction, the cells release the tiny electrical charge through which communicate with one another. And now we're going to essentially stab it, but in either stab it, that's the electrical signal. It's one single neuron's electrical output, yes. We've been recording for the past 13, 14 years now, and we've recorded from close to 8 to 10,000 neurons.
As the data from each cell is captured, it is sent to what will become the virtual brain.
Actually, the first most important classification of brainwaves is depending on the bands of its frequency. You make some Fourier transform for the brainwaves, and you see what the most parts of the amplitude is coming from which frequency. You can see here that there is some 4 bands that scientists, neuroscientists are interested in. The delta one is less than 4 Hz, and the theta wave is 4 to 7, alpha 8 to 12, and beta 13 to 24. This occurs from region to region differently. You cannot see it on the whole surface of the brain. But generally speaking, that whenever you are aroused more and you are awake, you will see more higher frequencies. This is because that not the whole area of the neurons are firing the same manner. You will see that some neurons are firing, some neurons are less firing. So there is a chaos about local firings. So you will see higher frequencies. But if there is some baseline firings of the whole of the area, you will see some low frequencies dominating that area. So you will see that in a comatose patient, in a lost consciousness of patients, you will see very low frequencies, delta waves. And that here, you can see here, coma, you can see here that this span is a 1 second span. So maybe the most dominant is 1 or 2 hertz of frequency. In deep sleep, you can see that there is some increase in the brain waves. And in sleep, it's some boundary between sleeping